A massive blast this morning damaged a major dam in Russia's controlled part of southern Ukraine. The incident led to major evacuation and fears of large-scale devastation, after which Ukraine accused Russian forces of committing an act of ecocide. The incident was caught on camera and the video showed a deluge of water gushing from a huge breach in the dam. There were multiple buildings at the entrance of the dam that were heavily damaged as well. Now, this critical Nova Kakhovka dam spans the Dnipro River, a major waterway running through southeastern Ukraine. There are multiple towns and cities downstream, including Kherson, a city of some 300,000 people before Moscow's invasion of its neighbor. Residents downstream from this particular dam on the Dnipro River in Kherson were told to do everything that they can to save their life. Following this breach, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that its destruction only confirms for the whole world that Russian forces must be expelled from every corner of the Ukrainian land. He's also holding a security meeting because now Ukraine will have to decide how to tackle this particular issue, also how to give it back to Russia as far as the military aspect of this is concerned. To put this in perspective for us, senior journalist from Russia, Ksenia Kondrateva is joining us here on this broadcast. Thank you so much for speaking with us. And I'd like to begin by asking you, we've seen this major dam that was being blown up. There's flooding and scare for the nuclear plant in Zaporizhzhia as well. Ukraine points in the direction of Russia. How do you respond to that?
At the moment, we get some conflicting news from South Ukraine. The dam is located near Kherson. The city is controlled by Ukrainian government, Ukrainian troops, and the other bank of the river is controlled by Russian forces. So both sides blamed each other, but it's not yet clear whether the dam structures were blown up or there was missile strikes, or as we get from some that the structures were weak because of the previous shelling. This area was shelled since October last year, when Russians retreated from Kherson to the other bank of Dnipro River, and Ukrainians took over Kherson.
Now, many say, including Ukraine, that this is a new front that Russia has opened up against them. They've called it something called ecocide. Is it because, do you think, that there's increasing global pressure, diplomatically, isolation of Russia, which is why we're seeing this kind of escalation from their side, perhaps?
First of all, we don't know who attacked. As I said, it's not clear who attacked the plant, and any of the reports coming from the front line, of course, each side blames the other. The kind of destruction that has been done to the ecosystems over the past 1 year, this has been discussed within a, of course, limited circle, because that's not something, the first point of attention. The first point of attention are people who are dying in this conflict. But the attacks on the critical infrastructure have been carried out for the past 1 year by both sides. So it's really it's a peer. I would call it a peer stint at this moment to talk about this in these kind of terms.
Who's responsible? We'll have to find out, but definitely this is a war of optics, which is why just yesterday, in fact, Ukraine was seen making comments. In fact, the President Volodymyr Zelensky also came out and lauded the kind of advances that the country and its troops were making on the Eastern Front. They even put out a video of the much-touted counteroffensive. They said that all secrets can't be said out loud and the counteroffensive will happen. Do you think that as far as the optics war goes, this is something that could be in retaliation to thwart that narrative from?
So there has been, again, conflicting reports on the Ukraine's counteroffensive. If we go with the Russian statements, they mentioned the Donetsk direction, that attack started 2 days back. So for the past 2 days, there have been significant movements on that direction of the front line. And as Russia claimed, the attacks have been suppressed, and Ukrainian troops could not fulfill, as Russian embassy stated, their targets. But if we look at the statements by Ukrainian, authorities and the military commandment, They have stressed that some movements have been seen on the Bakhmut front line, and I think President Zelensky yesterday in his night statement said that there were good news, and he hailed the good news from while some other Kyiv authorities even said that the counteroffensive have not started yet. So again, there have been rather an information warfare used by Ukraine around or built up around its counteroffensive. I think we have to be really critical reading the statements from both sides.
Sure. Ms. Konacheva, one last question before I let you go. The Russian installed mayor in this particular region, he's called this a terror attack. What, in your view, does that mean? Who or what is he hinting at?
Terrorist attack is any attack on the civilian and critical infrastructure. So since Russia believes the dam was damaged, the power plant, hydropower plant was damaged by Ukrainian shelling. That's why he calls it a terror. Doubts of the definition what terrorist attack is. Any attack on the critical infra, it's a huge dam. I've been there a year back when the territory was under control of Russians, and we spoke to the people who worked at the dam, and we saw the results of shelling, the missile shelling of the plant on the bridge. So even over a year back now, it was clear that any huge strike will destroy the dam, and it will destroy the lives of tens of thousands of people. And that's what is happening now. So whoever is behind the attack, it's attack against the population, first of all, against the people.